Hey, I'm Moya with College Village, and welcome to the Masterclass Legacy Over Loans. How I'm going to show you how to get your child into their dream school without paying a dime. Okay, so what we're going to do here, let me share my screen, and we're going to jump right into it. I don't want to hold you long today. I want to give you information that I know will truly benefit you in terms of what you want to do for your child and how you know that this will make a big difference for you and your family. So once again, I'm Moya with College Village and College Funding Specialist. I've been doing taxes for nearly a decade now, and I help business owning parents legally reduce their expected family contribution. I help all parents, by the way. It's just that business owning parents, they have a really particular nuanced need. And so um, they call it the student aid index, but there is a way to qualify for more aid, even if you are a high income earning family. So, are you ready for the truth today? As a business owning parent and you're stressed about college costs, what if your child could attend their dream college for free? Doesn't that sound amazing? Well, it's definitely possible. And would you show up daily for 15 minutes, 15 minutes to an hour, if it saved you $100,000? Yes, that's what we're talking about. What would you do? Okay, so in order to get those questions answered, give me 30 minutes. Give me 30 minutes and I'll show you how. I need you to turn off distractions. This session here, this masterclass, will change how you fund your child's college. I am going to tell you in the masterclass how you can work with me. Okay, I will tell you that. I will present an offer to you to work with me. But here's the catch, I'm also going to present you an offer about how you can make money. Okay, yes, I know you're like, wait, what am I signing up for right now? What is this? I want to just basically just show me how I can save my kid over $100,000. I will. I would definitely do that. But I'm also going to show you within that context so you understand that it's named College Village for a reason. We truly believe in making sure our village, that means all of our children, are taken care of. So, one of the things I want to start with is why most parents wait too late. The good thing is you are on this masterclass right now. So, I can say you're not waiting too late. That's excellent because every month you delay is one less month to win scholarships. With us at College Village, we have Scholar Hour. Scholar Hour takes place once a day, yes, every day, at 5:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So during that time frame, all you do is you come in and you have a seat where virtually, and you put together your scholarship. Your scholarship could be what you and I have worked on, or what we're doing for Scholar Hour. I've coined a 3-2-1 method. You need to be applying for, in order to increase your chances of getting scholarships, 3 scholarships that are local, 2 scholarships that are regional, 1 scholarship that's national. Otherwise, if you do this DIY, you're going to be left feeling delayed, disorganized, and discouraged. So let's go over today's agenda. You're going to have an answer to why most families overpay for college. You're going to understand the 3 myths keeping parents stuck. I'm going to let you in on my dream college method of how you can get your child to their dream college without paying a dime, and what's included in the offer that I told you that I'm going to present to you at the end. And then the bonus of you also making money every month. Yes, every month from you being part of College Village. So my journey was I doing taxes, and I would see so many of my clients having issues when it comes to sending their child to school. On top of the fact that my oldest is also 15, and so he's going to be going off to college shortly as well. So once I took time to truly understand what it took, because I have a master's from UCLA. I'm thinking it's probably the same, but probably the same. Once I looked at it, was like student loans, right? At each sector, I took out student loans. Bad idea, especially now with what's happening with that big bill that just passed. They're collecting student loans, and you may have gotten a letter already as well. So after that, I also helped, and I was left feeling confused, overwhelmed and just told, take out the loan. But remember, taking out the loans is not the answer. So afterwards, what I learned was I helped dozens of families attend college for free, their dream school, without paying a dime, including my own child. We're on the steps to making sure he's attending his dream college without paying a dime. Because the thing is that it takes time. Here's a little known fact. Please write this down. The FAFSA is calculated 2 years prior to you attending school. So what does that mean? Usually you fill it out senior year, so that's 12th grade year. So they look at your taxes from 2 years prior. They look at 10th grade and 11th grade. And that's what dictates your EFC. So that's why it's a process that you have to understand. So limiting belief number one, that we're going to break right now and say why College Village helps you with that. Time. Everyone says I don't have time. And that's true because you are a busy, busy parent. You work full time, you're picking the kids up, you have after school activities, all of these things that are happening. And you're thinking of, I don't have time. But 15 minutes a day, 15 to an hour, one day. And the reason why I said 15 is because some of my clients, they're able to, because there's a template that we have. So they go through the template, they have an idea, they've already spoke to me. So we already have what I call a through line. This through line is crucial. And most, like your college counselor doesn't tell you this, most places, because they don't think of it this way, but there has to be a through line that makes sense. And if you work with me, I'll discuss with you more about that. But it's this, so when they have their through line down and they have their template, they can start cranking out these scholarships within 15 minutes because they already have the different pieces. And the only thing they're doing is spending that time putting it together. And then at the end, guess what? They just send it to us and we edit it for them. So can you just take a moment to understand, oh my God, you're telling me that all I do is I use a template, put together my through line, and I send it to you? Yes. And then for those of you that really take the time with Scholar Hour, you just spend the hour, 1 hour. I don't suggest you do anything longer than that because it's not needed. You do the 1 hour, 5 to 6. The 3-2-1 method is 6 days a week. And you have one day I like to call for Saturday school, and that's test prep. And so what you are doing is every day you're doing something, because remember, you're working on your dream here. And when you're working on your dream, it takes time that you actually do have. Limiting belief number 2, tech, feeling like, what do I need to get started? What is this possibility? You don't have to worry about being tech savvy. In fact, you don't even have to worry about being organized, because that's the thing that keeps most people not ready for school and not able to really go to their dream college without paying a dime, because the organization is completely off. Don't worry, we have your back. Meeting monthly with one-on-one sessions, it goes 2 ways. There's 2 types of sessions. There's the one-on-one session, me and your child, that gets them ready for, I call it legacy, because that's what they're focused on, legacy over loans. L, leadership, making sure they have leadership opportunities with what they're doing. E, we're talking about extracurricular activities. What are they doing? G, understanding their GPA. Is it where it needs to be? A, one of the things that I like to focus on is ancestors, in terms of what we learn on Saturday school is we have a perspective paradigm change. And what that means is that when they're learning things, they're learning it from a place of their power versus the paradigm that they already look at the world as. And that paradigm doesn't serve us for us to show up in our fullest and brightest self. So we change the frame and we use a paradigm perspective. So that's where the ancestors come in. And then C, once again, in terms of curriculum, are you taking AP classes? You're going to see, I have a whole separate book related to HBCUs and the CLEP program. That CLEP program, just like AP classes and just like honor classes, where honors not so much because it doesn't necessarily equate. Remember, I'm looking for all the opportunities where there are dollars available. And your curriculum can give you dollars reduced. We have the CLEP and we have AP. So your curriculum. And the last one is why, your test scores. So that's where Saturday test prep comes in. Okay? So we keep you organized according to the legacy program, because remember, it's legacy over loans. Limiting belief number 3. We make too much to qualify. And on the other end of the spectrum is, because I know I don't make a lot, I know they're going to give me tons of grants. Either way, and everybody in between, that's a no-go. No-go. Even the days of my kid's an athlete, they're going to get this amazing scholarships. No. In my book, Mastering the FAFSA and Maximizing the FAFSA, one of the things that you have to understand is that college is a business. They have what's called enrollment management. And I don't want to go too in depth here in our one-on-one when we're planning everything out. That's when I really go into it. But enrollment management makes sure that there's this complex goal that the college has to reach. So there's a lot of different, nowadays they call it like an algorithm, but a lot of input variables that go into equation to see not only are they good on the legacy tip, but are they good that fits within what that school wants. And so one of the things is when we talk about income, you're either on the path of Accelerator 1, Accelerator 2, or Accelerator 3. Those 3 paths will allow me to have an understanding, and my team an understanding of how do we best set you up so that way we can reduce what you are expected to contribute as a family, what you guys are expected to contribute. This is the thing. The hidden cost of DIY. There is a hidden cost. Like you're thinking, don't worry about it. There's going to be like this slight, I can get through it. Let me tell you something. EFC, the expected family contribution, what I was just talking about, is misleading. And it's dangerous. And the reason why it's dangerous is because it can cost you an extra $10,000, especially if you're a business owner as a parent and you look rich on paper. And when I say rich, I mean like you make very good income. But one of the things about being a business owner is that you have a lot of expenses. And then, God forbid, you actually plan to purchase a home at the same time of you filling out the FAFSA information. That's why you definitely have to have somebody walk you through this, because there, at any point in time, especially when you're filling out your taxes, you might be thinking, I have my tax lady. She does everything for me. I just hand everything to her and I trust her, as you should. Most 99% of all tax professionals that I know, they are on their P's and Q's. The issue becomes is that you just hand them your tax stuff and they just do it. And anybody that does your taxes, generally speaking, they just do it to get you back the most refund, assuming that you're getting a refund. So either the biggest refund or paying the least amount. That's fine, but there's elements to it that have to be recognized. If you're in Accelerator 1, 2, or 3, when I'm saying accelerator, I'm really talking about income earning that you're in order to make sure that you're not paying an extra amount. Because there used to be a time where you can fill out the FAFSA and you can put on there like, oh, I think I remember making $50,000. And then FAFSA wants to know, well, let me make sure. So now they talk to the IRS. So they know exactly if that 50,000 was really 50,000. And then there's this tricky thing, I don't know if you heard of it, called scholarship displacement. It's so real, and it makes you feel just like he feels right here. Because what it does is private scholarship can reduce your aid, and not necessarily your tuition costs. And so you're stuck with this big bill. You did everything right. And then at the end, you still have more to pay. And you're like, what happened here? So let's go through an example, because I want you to avoid this scholarship trap that no one really talks about. Schools deduct private scholarships from your existing aid. So let's say you did everything that you could and you won $10,000 and you still owe the same amount out of pocket. So here you go. Let's say your child wants to go to Howard University. Okay. the esteemed Howard in Washington, D.C. Just for this example, let's say Howard's 50,000. Howard's actually more than 50,000, but for this example, it's $50,000 a year. And you have been showing up to Scholar Hour every hour. Every day that it's been available, you've been on it. And guess what? You got yourself that $50,000. Yes, you have it. And the best part about it, you're going in. So before you did anything, Howard said, we accept you. And in fact, we want to give you $30,000 because we think you are amazing. And you're like, I'm definitely going to Howard. They think I'm amazing. And then you hand them that you earned $50,000. And then they send you, you see, okay, because most colleges, some colleges that don't do this, you get, remember, they gave you $30,000 for you. And then you paid them in your scholarships $50,000, which was the full cost of the tuition, but 50 scholarship funds that you gave them minus the 30,000 that they gave you gives you an amount left over of $20,000. So the children and the students and the families that I work with, I work to get you that $20,000 back. Our goal is for that school or those scholarship entities to cut you a check for that $20,000. Yes, because you worked for all of that money. Otherwise, what Howard's going to do, Howard's going to say, great job, kiddo. So you have your tuition paid. You did wonderful. Thumbs up. And you're like, thumbs up? Where's the rest of my money? I thought I was supposed to get $20,000 back because you offered me 30. And that's where scholarship displacement comes in. And you have this mad look on your face because you're like, what do you mean? I was supposed to be offered money. And they said, well, because you already have the money to pay for tuition and bills and everything, we actually allocated it to another student. And so that's where the scholarship can be a trap if you don't have somebody already planning and talking on your behalf, because that $20,000, when you're working with us here at College Village, when you're working with me, that doesn't necessarily go into your pocket. That goes into an asset generating vehicle, whether that's stocks. Granted, we're learning about this. You're never, ever, ever investing money without you doing research before. But if you're going to be with us for several years, as I know you will, this will be a process that we grow into. And that's where the key is. That's what Albert Einstein calls the magic of compound interest. And that's where you come into play with that extra money that's divvied up to you. So you don't want to leave that with the school, because that could be making you money while you're in school. So that way, when they're done, they don't have to take a job that doesn't suit them the best, that doesn't fit them, because they already have money coming in. Talk about legacy over loans. This is a real process that we're talking about. So what's happening is most parents are planning backwards. No fault of your own. Please understand that by the fact of you being here, you are accepting the fact of, hey, I'm forward thinking. Most parents are extremely easy. And the thing is, you have this one or two example. You can only do red pill, blue pill, meaning you can only take out loans, or you take out loans, right? Either your child takes out loans or you take out loans. Unless what I'm saying is that there's a third option of really, really not only getting the scholarship, sure that you don't have any, starts with understanding financial aid, not just where your child gets in. So when I say your dream college without paying a dime, it's also based upon your child specifically. And so once again, one of the things that we do is we give your child an assessment so they know the types of the schools on TV. But the question is, and we also know our local schools. But either of them may not be the best individual. So that way they don't have to worry about this, oops, I made a mistake. This is a $30,000 to $60,000 yearly mistake they can be making. So I want to take a moment and go a little bit deeper so you understand this. So please write this down. Looks at taxable income. Yes, at that time, they may ask you how much is in your bank account, but remember, there's so many ways with proper planning, you can answer that question, answered it correctly at that moment. Okay, you follow me there? They're looking at which what gives them an understanding. And just so you know, answering that question wrong can increase what it is that they give you as aid. So that question, it's not a throwaway question, but it's a question that can be answered accurately with planning. And it only takes, they only look at taxable income. So remember, business owners, you may feel like you're at a disadvantage here, but you're not unless you plan. You plan. And I know I've been focusing a lot on business owners, but those of you that have a W 2, there are options that you do have. And so usually we would fill it out different because remember, there's 3 paths that we're really focused on: accelerator 1, 2, or 3. And that allows us to know where we put the funds. So therefore, by the time that we fill out that FAFSA, but by the time that we do your taxes, everything makes sense and is aligned. So here we go. I want you to write these down so that way you know. And I know I keep telling you to write things down because I want to truly answer everything that we talked about in the beginning. The financial aid mistakes that cost you, the FAFSA and the CSS profile. So the CSS profile is what colleges use when they are assessing how much they give you. Okay. So there is the FAFSA, and that's the overall one. And you definitely need to fill that out regardless of income. But then the CSS profile, that allows the college to decide, am I able to give you more? Here's an example. So let's say your child, let's say there are 2 private colleges that are in your neighborhood, in your community, right? So for Los Angeles, one would be Occidental, where actually President Obama went before he went on to Harvard, Occidental, and then there's another one, Pepperdine University. Those are 2 private colleges that are somewhat similar. They're not necessarily similar in ideology, but they're similar enough in price point because they're prestigious private colleges. Now, if I have an acceptance letter and a financial aid award letter from Pepperdine and from Occidental, what you can be doing is you can see how you can compare and negotiate. Because remember how earlier I told you the phrase enrollment management? One of the things that colleges really care about is their ranking on the US News. And so if a college knows that you may turn them down because of an offer, that will affect their acceptance percentage rate in terms of how many kids that applied and accepted it. There's like formulas for it. Then they may be inclined to negotiate with you. Yes, I told you I was going to give you the information. I told you this. So there is a level of negotiation, but it has to be done in a way where you know that it has to be done in a way that they can see the benefit of your child attending and not in the way of like a mom or dad or a grandparent advocating for them. Okay. Another thing is over-reporting business income or assets. Oh my gosh. Yes, this is very, very, very important. At one point in time, business income had to be reported if it was under a certain amount of employees. Now they've gotten rid of that, but there's still a way that you can address your business income without over-reporting. Because remember, the over-reporting doesn't start at the FAFSA level anymore. It now went back to the tax level, which has always been it. But now, since remember, the IRS and FAFSA, those government entities now talk, they know exactly what it is. So we have to go back a step and talk about what's on your taxes. Choosing the wrong school for aid generosity. So this one here is also based upon a couple things. When you're talking about aid generosity, you definitely want to make sure that they're being generous with their aid. That's super important. But one other aspect that most parents and students don't look at because they don't think to look at it is the matriculation rate. And what that means is, what is the average time frame that a student graduates? So just so you know, nationally, it's between 5 and 6 years. But some schools still fall within that 4 years, 4.3 years. You want it as close to 4 years as possible because let's assume a college has said, hey, let's assume it's $50,000 again. Let's assume you have $50,000 taken care of for 4 years. Okay, you don't have to worry about anything. But their average graduation time is 6 years. So those other 2 years, you're coming out 100,000, 50K, 50K each year. So that's 100,000. Now that's with loans. Eek! You see how we didn't plan and we weren't aware of the matriculation time, the graduation time, mixed with what they gave you as a financial aid package. Granted, the financial aid package can change from year to year, but it's generally speaking 4 years in terms of how they're looking at it when they're putting it the offer together for you. Okay? So that's why these little known areas, they have to be put in place. So I'm telling you, when I'm saying legacy over loans, your legacy and you starting strong is super crucial. Because as you can see, we're already thinking of what colleges, what areas will allow you to pull down that excess if you work hard and get that excess scholarship money. And then on our end, we do everything in our power to have you have them decrease how much you're expected to contribute and increase their aid to you. Then you're going to school for free. Do you see what I'm saying? And that money is coming back to you. So it's making you money during those 4 years. That's the part where we have to start thinking in terms of how do we plan all that? Because that's a planning process that I'm so excited to do with you. Okay? And not appealing your award letter. As I discussed earlier, I think for number one, appealing your award letter is important as long as you know how to do it. And not tracking scholarship renewal terms. Oh my gosh, that is the easiest money available to you because many times, like, and if you're working with us, we're telling you how to keep your relationship and build your relationship with that foundation or that scholarship entity that gave you the scholarship. They'd love to give you the scholarship again. And sometimes it's just as easy as making sure that you submit it on the renewal date. And that's one of the things that we work with you on. And so this is an image I want you to think of this, the greedy banker here, the greedy private lender here, snatching your money at the end because you have to understand that FAFSA isn't enough. And if you don't plan right, you're going to be forced to take out private loan money, especially knowing now that that bill just passed and it's reducing the amount that they offer as federal Pell Grants. And they're reducing the amount of access to the subsidized and unsubsidized loans, forcing most people to now go in the private lender market. And believe me, they are not the same type of lender as the federal government. They want their money quickly. So financial aid is a system and it's meant to be played. This isn't cheating. It's in navigating a game where the rules are hidden. Families with professional help, like myself, you get 10 to 20 times more aid than those who do it themselves. It's not about who's smartest at all. It's about who's most prepared. Financial aid isn't for poor families. Middle and high income families often qualify, and strategies beat savings. So while you're probably missing aid you deserve, we help you unlock overlooked sources. Families qualify from 10,000 to 50,000 regularly. You have to understand this is what we do because we're assisting you with your taxes. We understand your goals and we have a way that we can help you navigate your scholarships on top of a time frame that we have scholarships, on top of understanding the types of classes like our legacy method that we use to make sure that your classes and everything are in line with your through line so you can get into your dream college. So let me explain why strategy beats savings. So everything that I just discussed with you in those mistakes, you don't need to save more. You need to plan better. Take a deep breath on that, because many people think I need to save for my kids' college. I need to save for my kids' college. It's not about saving more. It's about planning better. Tax and the FAFSA strategies can reduce your expected contribution, what they call now your student aid index. So we restructure your business income. I want to give you insight into what we would do, especially if you're a parent that has a business. You restructure your business income and assets. That way you can get the maximum aid. It's about understanding the rules better than most counselors. And but please understand, the only reason why I bring up counselors is because I'll just go to my counselor for that. I've been at workshops and it says, scholarships, I help. I help the kids fill out scholarships. That's true. They do, and they are wonderful. Where I've been, 99%, I know I just say these 99%, it's just because most people I meet, they are really good at what they do. It's just that this isn't necessarily what they do. They don't do your taxes in a way that allows you to position your expected family contribution so that way you get the maximum aid as possible. They don't sit down with you every hour, 7 days a week, and also edit it, your scholarship essay for you, so that way you increase your chances of getting that scholarship. So it's kind of different in terms of what they do. Now, let's say your student is sitting down with me and we're saying, hey, do you have these classes available at your school? Maybe we're talking about AP classes. They'll definitely go to their counselor and say, hey, I have a list of classes. Can you help me with this? Okay. Let's talk about the hidden costs of DIY. Okay. Because many of you are thinking, I'll just DIY it. Many times versus working with me. Okay. So there's a level of confusion just because, as we've discussed right now, raise your hand if you realize I didn't know a lot of this. I didn't know that there was scholarship displacement. I didn't know that I'm expected to contribute no matter what income level I'm at. I didn't know that I have to look at so many areas for my child as well as myself to make sure that we get into the dream school without paying a dime. Okay? On top of the fact of missed deadlines, you're busy. You're busy as you're supposed to be. You're working, you're putting food on the table, roof over their head, lights on, electricity on, car running, gas in there. You're busy. So where we step in is we put together a strategic plan and we stick to it. There's a loss of scholarships. We talk about that scholarship displacement. We make sure that those wards are maximized so that they're also feeding them throughout their school time. And then you're focused on trial and error, and we have a proven system. Okay? We're thinking of what are we talking about here? Paying off or debt burden. So you've invested in private school. Think about everything you've done. Private schools, tutoring, sports, camps. Oh my gosh, just camps. But without a strategy to pay for college, all of that effort that you just did as a parent from baby up until 18, and assuming that they leave your house with $100,000 of loans, everything you did is lost. I want you to think of something here. This is a very interesting statistic that has come out. And they said that, with everything that you just did, their college delivers a 12.5% annual return, while the S&P 500, so that's just the biggest companies on the Fortune 500, the biggest 500 companies, their average return is 8 to 10%. So meaning if you got a job and you invested the amount that you invest into school and you put it into the stocks, you'll get an 8 to 10% return on your money. The investment that your child puts into themselves, they can get a 12.5% return on their money. But that's assuming that you did everything correctly. That's assuming that the tutoring for their tests, that assumes that their through line for their sports makes sense. That says that anything, especially if you pay for private school, all of that has to really, really pay off in order for your child to capture that 12.5%. Otherwise, it would have been better to put their money in the stock market. It's kind of interesting, right? So I want to let you know that college clock is ticking. You have a child in middle school, you have a child in high school. Please don't tell me you have a child that's a junior or senior, okay? Because then we'd have a whole lot of work to do. But your clock is really ticking. Most scholarships are awarded before the FAFSA even opens. So that means financial aid planning should start 18 months before enrollment. The early bird doesn't just get the worm, it gets the tuition covered, okay? Tuition covered. So let's regroup. Let's talk about everything, okay? How, what we do, our offer solves all of your problems. So we have our Dream College blueprint. It helps your entire family. We structure your finances for aid. Okay, so you maximize your financial aid. We help you avoid scholarship traps, such as that scholarship displacement. We maximize your awards when we're talking about awards from the CSS profile and from the FAFSA by making sure that we have a good handle on your tax-free funding beforehand. And all of this keeps more money in your pocket. So we're talking about, this is our 4-step system, the Dream College Blueprint 4-step system. So if you want to do this on your own, you can definitely do this on your own. You already know how it is with DIY, but you can do this on your own. So you need to position your finances. You have to understand what your finances are right now and making sure that it's presented in a way that allows you to maximize what that is. And we have daily scholar hour. That's where we meet 5:30 p.m. every day. You don't have to come every day. You can still look at the recording, but it just gets you in your mindset. Is every day outside of Saturday, which Saturday is SAT strategy. You are sitting for 1 hour. We're not going overboard because I don't want you burned out. It's not worth it. Especially because we have a template, especially because we can edit your essays here, because we want to get you into a well-oiled machine that just gets these scholarships cranking out. Because remember, we have another goal. Our goal is to pull down those funds from the scholarship that you've earned, because we've already set up your finances in a way where that school is giving you quite a bit of aid. And then from there, we can pull down some scholarship money so we can have that money working for you. I know it's a concept that you might not have thought of, but it's available to you as long as we plan. We talk about generational wealth for our family, for our kids. We're talking about legacy over loans. That legacy starts now. This time frame of your child's life is super unique because you basically have 4 years where you can get quote unquote free money to better yourselves. Well, let's really better ourselves and not give all of the money to the school, because remember, school is a place for your child to truly develop. So they do develop some in the class, but a lot of it happens outside of the class. A lot of it happens within networking. A lot of it happens in their internships, at their jobs. And so we have to truly position them to start building in other areas their financial foundation before they even get out. That is how we close the wealth gap, by making sure that financial foundation is already in place before they get out, without you feeling the pressure to provide something extra because you're doing all that you can in this moment. That's what we're focused on. And that's why I'm here. So what's included? You have your one-on-one monthly coaching. You have the daily scholar hour. We have the Saturday SAT strategy and prep. And we have the scholarship edits. Okay? And so what is that? You get essays, edits, $497. That's the value. $297 for SAT prep. $997. Total of $3. Today, you get it for $497. Yes, $497. Our guarantee to you. I want you to know that I'm serious about what it is that we do. So our guarantee is, if your child doesn't earn $10,000 minimum in aid, I'll rework our strategy in a private session that's valued at $500. So you don't pay for that. And I'll give you a refund. So I'll keep working with you, and I'll give you a refund. That's how much I believe in this dream college method by focusing on our 6 legacy, LEGACY areas, and using our 3-2-1 method in order to get your child that 10K aid. Because I believe in what it is that we do. I believe that our children need that financial foundation without burdening the parents to do something that they are already doing their best at. This is that leg up that we've been waiting for. And this is what we can give ourselves with us taking that chance of making it happen. And so, one of the things that I feel is really important is that you have to ask yourself, what kind of parent legacy do you want to leave? You're not just paying for college, you're modeling financial leadership. A debt free start is the greatest gift you can give your child. Let them focus on school, not on loans. This is why it's legacy over loans. This is that time today. And so I told you, I was also going to tell you that there is a way to work with us. So you can do it today only, $497 or 3 payments of $197. But one thing I wanted to tell you is this, and I'm excited to say it. Once you sign on, if you get another parent to sign on as well, let's say they sign on just for, they don't necessarily have to do the one-on-one. I encourage them to do one-on-one, but let's say they do it and they do the monthly breakdown. Guess what you get? You get 50% of that. 50% of what that monthly breakdown would be. And that, my friend, is where it gets very interesting very quickly. So you tell your aunt, cousin, nephew, grandma, sister, brother, and you got 5 people right there. You got residual income coming in monthly, not only paying for this of $497, but also paying you monthly. You're paying your cell phone bill. You could be paying your car note every month. It could be paying groceries. Extra money available to you because you understand and believe what it takes to, to have everyone help the village grow. I look forward to seeing you inside of College Village today. You're going to click on the link and you're going to join us today. And then from there, we're going to schedule a time on the calendar and we're going to meet and we're going to get everything started. I'm Moya. See you in College Village.